Good afternoon. Good afternoon. How y'all doing? Great. Well, what I wanted to do today is this is the first, I wanted to start a forum where we start recognizing those civilians who, out of the best of their hearts, want to work with our soldiers and our families in order to help them, whether they be wounded warriors, whether they visit them while they're deployed, or just try to help them in a various sundry of ways. And I think it's important for us to recognize that. And I want to start this, the first one we've done, we're going to do one every 6 months, where we recognize individuals who I think have gone well beyond the call of duty to help our families and our soldiers. So I want to thank everyone for being here today. And I think they got to spend the morning with the old guard this afternoon. And I haven't had a chance to really talk to you about it, but I know whenever I spend time with them, it's incredible, the young men and women that serve in the old guard and what they do and how professional they are in honoring not only our Army with their professionalism, but also honoring all of our fallen and all the things they're required to do. And the thing I've learned as I've gotten older, and maybe it's because I've gotten older, the importance of our profession and recognizing what our profession is about. And the old guard does that. And they're about reminding America and Americans what's so important about our country and those who sacrifice for it. So I really thank them for what they're doing. So what I want to do is just recognize those things. I want to just talk a little bit about each individual. First, I want to start out with Mr. Rick Kell. He has just done a tremendous job. As everybody knows, Rick is the founder and executive director of the Troops First Foundation. Rick spent 26 years as the president of Kell Communications, a company he founded in 1980. His mission to support our military began shortly after visiting with wounded warriors at Walter Reed Army Medical Center, and he hasn't paused to think about himself since. In 2006, Rick left his company to fully dedicate himself to supporting our military, and specifically our wounded warriors. Since then, Rick has made 25 trips to Iraq to visit soldiers overseas and has spent enormous amounts of energy supporting our troops through his foundation. One of the initiatives developed by the Troops First is Operation Proper Exit. Many of you might have seen that on 60 Minutes a couple weeks ago. This was a groundbreaking program trying to bring those who had been injured in combat back to where they were injured, and to bring about sometimes closure for them, but also to help them face some of the challenges that they've continued to face since they were injured. I would tell you, having been on the receiving end of these visits, what it really did was motivate us who were over there and made us feel good about watching them come back to where they were injured. So this time they got to leave on their own terms, not on somebody else's terms. And I think that the young men who've gone through that have really, in some cases, been able to start anew because of these visits. This was Rick's idea, and Rick, I want to thank you for that. And there's many other things you've done, but I want to specifically recognize that.
You made it happen.
And we couldn't have done it without you. So thank you so much for everything. Second is Mr. Butch Harmon. Many of you might know is obviously very famous in our golfing community for more than 42 years, following in his father's footsteps. And he's been a coach to many great golfers. Currently, I know Phil Mickelson and Dustin Johnson are two that he works with, and Nick Watney, I believe, as well. Three of our best golfers we have today. And rumor has it he once was the coach of Tiger Woods when he actually was winning tournaments, but I won't go any further than that. And he also, I think, coached Greg Norman. But what a lot of people don't know about Butch Harmon is he's a Vietnam veteran, 2 tours in Vietnam. And I know how important, with conversations I've had with him, how important it is to him to reach out to our veterans and to reach out to those who had been wounded. And it was important for him to understand and help them as they came back. And he started Harmon's Heroes, working with Rick Kell, which allows wounded warriors and experience the best facilities and staff the sport of golf has to offer. And he brings them out to Las Vegas, and he gets made visits from PGA and LPGA tour members. And they also get to enjoy a little bit of the nightlife, I believe, of Las Vegas while they're out there, Butch.
I think about that, sir.
And he's also visited Iraq. And he's really just dedicated himself. He's always available also for other tournaments that have been done and always there to give little clinics for our wounded warriors. And I can't thank him enough for opening up his school to our wounded warriors. And the feedback I've gotten has just been tremendous on that. And again, it's people like you, Butch, who make a real difference. And I know it means a lot to you, but it also means a lot to us. You represent a lot of Vietnam veterans who have realized that they don't want us to be treated the way they were treated when they came back from Vietnam, and your extra effort really talks towards that, and I want to thank you for that, and I also want to thank you for your service to our nation as well. Tom Watson, I don't know if any of you have ever heard of him. I had a chance to talk to him a few months ago, and I told him, now that I'm getting a little older, I thought one of the greatest sporting events I've ever seen in my life was the British Open a few years back. It was the most compelling and, to me, one of the greatest performances by an athlete I'd ever seen in my life, and I truly mean that. And I know he's disappointed because he got bad bounce off the green on 18. But I think I'll now be able to play golf till the day I die because of you, because I know that the way you've played, and all of us that aren't quite as good, we know that we can play as well. Tom has made 2 trips over Thanksgiving to Iraq, 2007, 2009. I was able to, he tried to give me a lesson off my back porch hitting balls into Camp Victory, but he soon gave up on that and realized that was no amount of talent could possibly do that. I'm trying to get free lessons from Butch, Tom, so you got to help me here.
You got those, sir.
But he also has participated frequently in the Troops First Foundation in their annual golf and hunting events that they do for wounded warriors. And he's given a lot of his time. And he could find a lot of different ways to give of his time, but he's chosen to give back to our wounded warriors. So, Tom, thank you so much for everything that you've done. We really, really appreciate. Spike Smith. Spike, raise your hand so everybody can see you. Spike Smith is the founder of the Patriot Foundation and is currently its treasurer. Spike has been a staunch supporter of our soldiers and their families in the Fort Bragg area. He's also an avid golfer. Spike started the Patriot Foundation initially as a charity golf tournament for the troops in the Fort Bragg area. Since then, the scope of the Patriot Foundation has grown, and they've extended their support to providing scholarships for children of fallen warriors and providing a child care benefit that helps spouses of personnel killed or wounded in action get additional education so they can provide for their families in the future. More than 600 children of soldiers have received scholarship support from the organization, and over $1.5 million has been raised since the Patriot Foundation's founding in 2003. I had the opportunity to participate in September in the latest fundraising event they had, and they gave over $500,000 to different organizations on Fort Bragg for this very specific thing. So thank you so much for what you've done. The foundation provided $325,000 in scholarships for approximately 134 children in 2010 alone. So thank you for everything you've done for the great soldiers at Fort Bragg.
Thank you.
Chuck DeLeod is the current president of the Patriot Foundation. He is a retired Navy captain. Chuck, where are you at? There you are. And he's a Navy man doing a lot for the Army at Fort Bragg. But what that tells you is he's a true patriot. And what he cares about is taking care of our men and women who have sacrificed and have raised their hands to support our country. Under Chuck's leadership, the Patriot Foundation has developed corporate partnerships in the Fort Bragg area to provide additional support to our soldiers and families. One of the foundation's partnerships with Hardee's Restaurants has raised nearly $95,000 for our soldiers. The Patriot Foundation's recent charitable contributions include $75,000 to the All-American Strategic Response Force charity, benefiting scholarships for the 82nd Airborne Division, $75,000 to Unit Scholarship Fund charity benefiting scholarship for children of Army Special Operations Forces, and $50,000 to the Airborne Scholarship Association charity benefiting scholarships for children of the 18th Airborne Corps. They've also donated $50,000 to the American Gold Star Mothers charity benefiting scholarships for children of the Fort Bragg Warrior Transition Battalion. Over 25 spouses received benefits from their child care program in 2010 and 11. So Chuck, I want to thank you for everything you continue to do to move the Patriot Foundation forward. Mike Jermount, Mike, is a board member of the Patriot Foundation, retired from the pharmaceutical industry. Mike has committed his own personal time, talent, and treasure to ensure the Patriot Foundation is able to support our soldiers and families. Mike's passion for caring for our soldiers truly sets the example for others. He has gone as far as arranging for the donation of 30 cases of water a month to the Fort Bragg Warrior Transition Battalion. His tireless efforts have directly helped hundreds of families. His unwavering support demonstrates that our nation's citizens care deeply for the welfare of our troops and their families. So Mike, thank you for everything that you've continued to do. And finally, General Buck Kernan, who many of you know. Buck serves as an advisor to the Patriot Foundation. But he's more just an advisor. Buck is an advocate for the American soldier, as we all know. An individual who's dedicated his life to the Army and service to our nation, who served as a rifle platoon leader to Vietnam all the way to the Commanding General of Joint Forces Command. He continues his service through the Patriot Foundation, helps ensures that those that sacrifice so much in defense of our nation are not forgotten. And General Kernan is also involved in the National Golf 912 effort. Golf 912 is a simultaneously played multi-course golf tournament aimed at uniting our nation through the opportunity to reflect on a shared spirit of unity that was felt on September 12, 2001. I know that you do this because of your care and long-standing relationship with soldiers, but I just want to thank you for your continued support and commitment that you do today. Thank you so much for everything that you do. So those who are here we're representing today represent those who spend their own time and effort in order to help and assist our families. And I just wanted to have them here today to thank them. So with that, I think what we would like to do is move on with the award ceremony. So I'll let you take over from here.
The first award recipient is Mr. Rick Kell. The Outstanding Civilian Service Award is awarded to Mr. Rick Kell for outstanding service provided to the soldiers, family members, and civilians of the United States Army over the last decade. Your initiatives carried out through the Troops First Foundation to include Operation Proper Exit have had a tremendous impact on the health of the force and the success of the Army. Signed, Raymond T. Odierno, General, United States Army, Chief of Staff. The next award recipient is Mr. Butch Harmon. The Outstanding Civilian Service Award is awarded to Mr. Butch Harmon for outstanding service provided to the soldiers, family members, and civilians of the United States Army over the last decade. Your initiatives carried out through the Troops First Foundation to include Harmon's Heroes have had a tremendous impact on the health of the force and the success of the Army. Signed, Raymond T. Odierno, General, United States Army, Chief of Staff. The next award recipient is Mr. Tom Watson. The Outstanding Civilian Service Award is awarded to Mr. Tom Watson for outstanding service provided to the soldiers, family members, and civilians of the United States Army over the last decade. Your initiatives carried out through the Troops First Foundation have had a tremendous impact on the health of the force and the success of the Army. Signed, Raymond T. Odierno, General, United States Army, Chief of Staff.
I'd like to say a word about a couple of people here. First is Rick Kell, a person who called and said, would I like to be a part of a trip to Iraq? And I said, I'd certainly love to be. I have a dad who was Army Air Corps, New Guinea, 53 missions. He survived. He taught me the game of golf, taught me how to hunt. He's no longer with us. And Dad didn't say much about what he did, but I knew he was a proud patriot of our country. The other guy, maybe it's on the other end of the spectrum. His name is Faraday. Anybody know about David Faraday around here? Knows, he's a little bit off the wall, but being in his company and what he has done for the Troops First Foundation,
Co-founder.
what he has done for the troops, the wounded warriors, taking them hunting, been with him, had him over, had him in his own personal care. I have to give him kudos for what he has done for our armed services. Wish he was with us today. Thank you very much.